Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this second hearing of this subcommittee on immigration, citizenship, and border safety. I'm honored to convene this hearing today to examine the impact of immigration policy on our military service members, veterans, and their families. I want to begin by thanking committee members and our witnesses for joining us today. Special thank you to Senator Duckworth for her leadership on this issue and for participating in today's hearing. Also want to particularly thank Mr. Howard Bailey and Lieutenant Colonel Margaret Stock for your service to our country and for participating today as well. We owe you a debt of gratitude. To help set the stage, let me just give some background. Less than 1% of people in the United States choose to serve in the armed forces. Less than 1%. As soldiers, sailors, and National Guard members, these brave individuals risk their lives to keep America safe and to secure our position in the world. The choice to serve in uniform is an act of patriotism. And so it should come as no surprise that military attracts a disproportionate number of immigrants and members of immigrant families. As the proud son of immigrants myself, I know how brightly the American dream shines in our families. I know my parents left everything behind to come to the United States to build a better life. My parents always impressed on my brother, my sister, and I the importance of service to others. And today, indeed, all three of us are public servants in different capacities. So while we didn't serve in the armed forces specifically, certainly do have cousins and now nephews who have and are serving currently. The American dreams of immigrant families are reflected in our military statistics as well. Approximately 5,000 permanent residents enlist in the military each year, bringing us to a total of 45,000 non-citizen members serving in active duty, and more than 700,000 foreign-born veterans. Of those foreign-born veterans, 17% have not been naturalized as of 2018. Non-citizen recruits bring critically needed skills to our armed forces. According to the Department of Defense, on average, non-citizen immigrants enlist with higher education credentials and aptitude scores. Many of these recruits speak strategically necessary languages and have healthcare training critical to supporting military missions. The Center for American Progress finds that non-citizen enlistees are more likely to make it through basic training and more likely to stay in the military beyond 4 years of service. In total, around 13% of veterans are immigrants and children of immigrants. But the critical role of immigrants serving in the military is not reflected in our immigration policy. Changes to the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security policies under the Trump administration has led to a 72% decrease in military naturalizations. And you can see that sharp decline in the chart behind me. These restrictive policies undermine Congress's clear intent to provide an expedited naturalization process for military service members and for veterans. Under the Trump administration, the USCIS terminated its Naturalization at Basic Training initiative, which provided on-site immigration resources so enlistees could begin the naturalization process. That initiative helped to prevent the deportation of veterans by ensuring that non-citizen enlistees would be naturalized before leaving service. Under the Trump administration, the USCIS also shuttered the vast majority of its field offices abroad, cutting the number of naturalization sites from 23 down to 4, which are open for just 1 week each quarter. The Trump administration's cruel cutbacks have made it much harder for honorable service members to become citizens. As a result, active duty military members have instead found themselves in deportation proceedings. Thousands of non-citizen veterans now live at risk of losing their lawful status. We must act to repair the damage caused by these policies. In addition, an estimated 11,800 current service members have a family member facing deportation. It's hard to imagine the stress of serving in uniform while worrying day in and day out that your parents or spouse might be deported. But that's just what happened to Cesar Flores, a senior airman in the Air Force and the son of Juana Marie Flores. Juana supported Cesar's decision to enlist at the age of 19 and cheered him on when he graduated from basic training in September of 2016. But in April 2019, she faced a choice to either get into a van with ICE or to be deported or to leave on her own. The cause was a fateful decision Juana made over 20 years ago to leave California to visit her ailing mother in Mexico. She was arrested when she tried to cross back into the United States without documentation. Juana's undocumented status and then her deportation weighed on Cesar's mind every day as he served our country. Earlier this month, Juana was thankfully granted humanitarian parole for 1 year and was reunited with her 10 children and 18 grandchildren. But this is a temporary victory for Juana and her family. We must do so much more as a country for military family members. We must examine the cases of honorably discharged, deported veterans and their families and allow them to apply to return home. Members of our armed services and their families deserve a pathway to citizenship that accounts for their service. And there's no question that building that path is a matter of military necessity. Our armed forces rely on the bravery, dedication, and skills of immigrant recruits. Finally, I want to express my support for the critical special immigrant visa program for Afghans who supported the United States troops. I'm deeply concerned about the fate of these individuals after the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan. Time is not on our side here, and our government must act quickly. Last week, Senator Cornyn and I introduced the Honoring Our Promises Through Expedition for Afghan SIVs Act of 2021, which would help pave a more expeditious path to safety for these Afghans and their families. We must continue to stand with all of those who honorably risk their lives to protect our country. So look forward to hearing from today's witnesses about how we can better serve the immigrants who have courageously stepped up to serve in uniform.